Hello friends, I made this for. My name is Lauren, and today I'm here with a multi-level video. I'm going to briefly start by talking about the Virgo new moon that is happening today, tomorrow. I'm recording this on Friday. You'll see it on Saturday. So the Virgo full moon, that is our new moon, that is happening. Some tips on how to engage with this new moon, some ritual ideas. This charwood, by the way, I think this is a great cleanser to use because it's very earthy. Tarwood has a lot of it feels very Virgo essence to me. And then of course I'm going to do a quick read. So 3 videos in one, gonna make this quick. But let's just get started. The new moon is a great time to plant seeds. So what do I mean by that? Writing down intentions, doing some journaling can be especially supportive. Burning things we want to let go of. So maybe writing out some and some things that you're letting go this cycle, letting it go to the dark moon, right? We are letting that Virgo energy kind of hold space for what we're letting go of. Because remember, Virgo is, if we're looking at it as a term, it's I scrutinize. As an action, I scrutinize. So really like thinking about what is not of service, right? So with everything that's happening, there's a lot of stuff happening that I didn't cover this week because as I'm transitioning back to the classroom, just going to be making less videos, less in-depth stuff. But yeah, Uranus went retrograde on Wednesday. Thursday, Mercury entered Libra. Rosemary, also a great one, very earthy. So there's a lot of different things at play with Libra energy being right around the corner and coming to us through Mercury. This really gives us an opportunity with this dark moon in Virgo to focus on the balance that we are bringing to the scrutiny, to the organization that we're creating. We don't have to throw the baby out with the bathwater. We can incrementally change. We can incrementally make that magic happen. Now, by Libra energy, I just mean Mercury is in Libra, so the way we communicate, the way we take that information and channel it, as well as just being able to think about the information that we share and how we can balance that out in a way that feels right, that feels authentic. With Virgo being our dark moon mistress of this month, it'll be a good opportunity to take time to really assess why we have certain intentions, why our intentions matter, why we should be focused on creating change that is all around the structures and the physicality of our lives and really just being mindful. So because we're also in the deepest part of summer, I would highly recommend spending some time outside this Saturday, whether that's a hike, a walk, taking your shoes off and standing in some grass, going to a park or an outdoor space, even your yard, putting out a little blanket, sitting on that blanket, reading, journaling, and put those little tootsies in the grass. Connect with the earth for this one. That will be really supportive. I think another great stone recommendation would be labradorite. This is a big piece that I have on my desk right now to kind of connect because this stone to me is also big Piscean energy, and Pisces is the opposition of Virgo, so sometimes working with that sort of energy can be really supportive. It's earth energy, but it's mystical, right? And that's something that I think we need to remember with Virgo is there is a level of mysticism. Virgo is all about how do we turn our day-to-day routine into a ritual. Everything is ritual, baby. I also recommend connecting with copper, like using or wearing some copper around now. Just intuitively to me feels very Virgo dark moon energy because it's a conductor. It's again a metal, so it's that earth energy again. Those are kind of ritual ideas for you. For this moon, I don't think you have to make it very fancy. And in fact, Virgo is a very practical sign. So keep it within reason. Don't overwhelm yourself with things to do. Pick maybe one or two things that feel really important and get into those in a way that feels really nourishing for yourself, for your body, for your mind. Virgo is all about service to others. So how can you be of service to your body right now? Your body as the vessel of your soul, as the sacred temple that you care for, right? So making sure you're drinking lots of water, as always. Eating some nourishing food. Hell, that sounds like a great ritual. It's just making yourself a little feast that is just super nourishing without overwhelming you. That feels very Virgo to me. There is a ritual in all the mundane. That is like the phrase that I'm coming to right now. With all that said, let's do a little reading, a little collective reading. So go ahead, get comfy, and start thinking about what are some things that Virgo is teaching you already in this season. A prompt to ask, or to write about, might be, how can we be in service to our purpose? How can we be of better service to our purpose? And with that being a good journaling prompt, I'm going to use that as our first pull. How can we be of better service to our purpose? And remember, this is general, so your service and purpose looks different than mine, but use as you choose for this little reading. How can we be a better service to our purpose in this lunation? How can we be a better service to our purpose? Better service to our purpose. Oh boy! There are no good and bad cards, but this card comes as a big hello, bitch. Hello. It's judgment. How can we be of better service to our purpose? How can we be better service to our purpose? Man, this is Plutonian energy. Surrender. Surrender is the first word that comes here. And you want to know what? The phrase that really came forward is a phrase that I came across earlier this week as I was working on this tatty. Before my tattoo artist started doing some more work to that, I pulled a card from one of their decks, and it had something to do with, well, the phrase that stuck out to me is, how can you put God at the center of everything that you do? And that kind of is coming up for me around judgment and how can we be a better service to our purpose? How can we surrender in this moment? How can we allow ourselves to be vulnerable to the things that we don't want to be aware of? Or how can we heed the call without making it about ourselves? How can we heed the call without making it about ourselves? How can we heed the call without making it about ourselves? there's big medicine here for multiple reasons. One of the reasons is, I think fundamentally, this card comes to us as a reminder that judgment in this way is not about ostracizing ourselves or bringing shame, but like moving past the shame, moving past that pain. Sometimes when I hear people talk about white guilt, for example, there's a lot of like the idea is when you feel those things, acknowledging them so that they can help motivate you to move through them and create change rather than settling in the shame, settling in the guilt and becoming stagnant and not really moving forward in a way that feels really nourishing, right? So this card to me, when it comes to how can we center our purpose, is how can we heed the call regardless of how vulnerable and naked we might feel. How can we allow ourselves to just kind of be reborn through the purpose rather than dictating where we need to go, right? There's like so much deep medicine here. Some of this might even be, how can we not judge ourselves or others as we are all moving through our purpose and our different like platitudes of self-discovery or work that flow. How do we move with less judgment? That's a very obvious takeaway, but I think it's when we are thinking about how we can honor our purpose, be of service to our purpose, there's a lot of call for listening. And with this being a very Plutonian card, allowing death, ego death, death of our ideology to fall by the wayside. So that's a big fucking, I don't know. That's good. It's good medicine. Yum, yum, yum. Tarot is so good, y'all. The medicine is so good. Nom, 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 nom. I'm gonna eat that shit. Where are we being called to be more vulnerable? How about that? Where are we being called to be more vulnerable in this dark moon, right? Or how can we embrace more vulnerability in this dark moon? Soft vulnerability. I think radical vulnerability is a little tough right now, but how can we embrace more soft vulnerability in pursuit of the purpose? How can we embrace more vulnerability? I love Ten of Swords. It's so good. Let it wash over you. Let change wash over you. Let your old cycles die. Ten of Swords is it's a lot like death. And judgment has a lot to do with death because there's a lot of surrender, right? And death is very much kind of catapulted by the Tower. So we have a lot of these like quote unquote stereotypically negative cards coming up right now, but these are not negative. These are experiences. So with 10, we are being told that shit's being the book is closed. It's being slammed shut because it's done. And of course it doesn't mean we're not going to open back that book and be surprised when we read it again and we notice, oh wow, I totally missed this part, right? It doesn't mean that the book is put down and we never open it again. These themes are often themes that we can revisit later because life is a series of themes and seasons. Yeah. So the thing that's going to help us be more vulnerable is accepting that certain cycles have come to a close. These are cycles that have infiltrated our mind and weigh so much in our mind that they can be felt all throughout our body, all throughout. We, as humans, internalize our thought patterns into very heavy, like we hold that shit in our body, right? It's undeniable. We hold trauma, we hold thought patterns, we hold so much shit in our body. And Ten of Swords, I think, can sometimes be a reminder of how our mental anguish is stored everywhere in our bodies, our hearts, our minds, our souls. Like, it just reverberates when it's harsh, when it's deep and painful. There's no way around it. You know, like, some shit is just fucked up, and that sucks. But it's not impossible to overcome these. Ultimately, yes, do we feel like shit? Are we dead and on the ground? Yeah, but it's over. Thank God. It's over. So what's going to help us be more vulnerable is accepting that all this fucked up shit that we have held in our minds, that we hold in our bodies, like, it's over. So we can take the swords out. We can use them for our own healing and protection, but we can also just get rid of them. We can accept that it has happened. It will not go away, but we can also move past it. It's a closed chapter. We can reopen the book, but we'll never be reading it for the first time again, right? That is like something that I think is really important. And I think if we're talking about really like taking care of our body as a temple, that means like taking care of the mind too. Remember that Virgo is ruled by Mercury. Yeah. So this is, out of all 3 earth signs, this is the most heady. This is the most in your head sort of earth sign. So let it go. Let it go. I say as an earth moon, as a Virgo moon. Let that shit go. All right, let's close out with what is a card to support release at this time? What is a card to support release at this time? Our medicine card for the dark moon. What is a card that can support us in release? Or you know what? Let's just go with what is our medicine card for this dark moon in Virgo? What is the medicine card for this dark moon in Virgo? Tens are a closeout. Some closeouts are tough. Some closeouts are good. Some closeouts can feel like deep fucked up pain, but man, gold mine the shadows. How can we take that terrible fucked up shit and go, you know what? That did happen to me. You know what? That did all fucking happen to me. And just as those curses happen to me, so do the blessings. So does the radiance of life in my heart. My heart will go on. And my heart can find hope and solace knowing that even though things can be difficult, there's so much community here to support me. There's so much fullness in the experience. It's not all Ten of Swords. Sometimes it's Ten of Cups. And moving through these cards, moving through Judgment and Ten of Cups is greatly supported by acknowledging where the Ten of Cups in your life is. Noticing where those blessings are. It's a blessing that everything ends, y'all. There is never there is never a forever sunshine. There is never a forever nighttime. We go through them both. And so with this new moon in Virgo, we might be asked to really scrutinize what does not serve, because it's time to take the swords out. It's time to acknowledge the cycles of pain within our own body and mind, because there is so much overflowing love and abundance to share, to revel in, and just make space for. And yeah, this doesn't last forever, but neither does this shit. Neither do. It's all about how can we embrace the cycles that we are closing, whether that is the pain that we close out or the pleasure. Maybe we can't stay at the job we love. Maybe we can't stay in the house we love. Maybe we have to shift communities. Maybe that brings us pain. But the cycles of, like, the wheel is always turning. The wheel of fortune. It's always turning. We can heed the call and be vulnerable when it hurts, because we can also be vulnerable when it feels so good. So in this time of Virgo, this Virgo dark moon, really pay attention to your thought patterns and your heart patterns. Because both of these are going to allow us to really embrace judgment with discernment, and just really move through that energy with so much grace and compassion for ourselves, compassion for others. Remember that compassion for yourself, y'all. It'll be so easy, I think, around the next few weeks to engage with Virgo as I'm not doing enough. Or I should have done this, I should have done that. Baby, it all fucking ends. Whether it's good or bad, it all ends. So how can we just embrace the best parts of the good and the bad? How can we just acknowledge that all these things are calling us to our purpose and fulfilling our purpose, our life's work, our goals, our place on this little rock, right? Happy Virgo season, y'all. Happy Virgo new moon. I hope this was supportive. Remember, pull out your tarot deck and connect with your Hermit card, because now's the time. Do that inner work, baby. And I'll see you next time, my friends. Bye-bye.